Okay, so the first part of this gizmo was about inheriting variations, right? So we found that most of those bugs had the same chromosomes as their parents, right? One from their mom, one from their dad. Some of us, depending on the roll of the dice, basically, some of us actually had mutations in our data, right? It was the chromosome alleles were really close to one of the parents, but not exact. That's what a mutation is. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at survival of the fittest. So survival of the fittest is a Darwinian concept that means the better you are adapted to your environment, the more likely you are to survive. So therefore, the more likely you are to reproduce. So we're going to start on activity B. And again, that is survival of the fittest. And it says, get the gizmo ready. So we're back in the mutation and selection gizmo again. It says to click reset, which is down on the bottom. It asks you to set the values of the background. So we're going to change the background now. We're going to set red to 255. We're going to set green to 0. Wow, that is different. And then we're going to set blue to 130. So let me make sure I have the colors, the color set right. So I have 255 for red, I have 0 for green, and I have blue for 130. It says set the mutation rate to 1.0. Okay, so 1.0. Are some organisms more likely to survive and reproduce than others? Okay, keep in mind what that introduction was about the rock and the lizards, right? I know I keep going back to that, but there's a reason why that was used at the very beginning. Step 1, count. Move the sim, which is simulation speed, slider all the way to the left and click play. So we already have it there. After the parents mate, click pause. How many offspring are there? Okay, so let's go ahead and click it and pause. How many offspring do we have? Write it in the box. Remember, the adults are here. The offspring are here. Remember, they go off here as pairs, they mate, and these are the offspring. Okay, so now it says to click play. After the birds eat, click pause. How many offspring are left? So this is before they remate, okay, before the offspring remate. Okay, here we go. Okay, birds done eating. How many do we have left? Okay, so how many offspring were there? There were what? 6. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4. So there were 20 to start off with, right? How many did the birds eat? How many were left? So after the birds eat, we clicked. How many offspring are left? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on mine. Okay. So in nature, as in the gizmo, more offspring are born than can survive long enough to reproduce. Because of this, the offspring must compete with one another for survival. In this gizmo, the insect offspring compete to avoid being eaten by birds. Okay. So there's just, enough things to eat. There's only so many places to hide, right? So some are going to survive, some are not. Step 2, observe. Move the sim speed slider 1 notch to the right. Sim 1 notch to the right. Okay. Click play and wait for about 20 generations to pass. You should see a variety of insects phenotypes. If not, click play and wait until you do. Remember, the phenotypes are what they look like. So we have it set. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hit play and we're going to wait for about 20 generations, which you are going to see right here. They're going off in pairs. Then they're mating. The survivors are mating. We have to wait till about 20 generations. You can already see the colors of the insects are starting to change, right? The colors of the offspring. And we're only at generation 10. And do you notice any specific ones that are surviving? I mean, we'll look at that later, but I mean, are you noticing any differences or any getting picked off first, right? Remember, we changed the background. So now we're at generation 17. 20. Are we looking at different colors? Nah, not really. Let's wait a little bit longer. Okay, so let's stop here. So it doesn't look like the number of colors is increasing much, right? So we're looking at, do you see a variety of phenotypes? So we're seeing a little bit different here. And we stopped here. Let's let it finish so we can get rid of the bird here. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop here. So let's run through these birds and let's see what do we have for different colors. Right? We have some that are a little red. Those are all kind of the same. Lots of ones that are slightly red. There's one that's slightly black. Okay, this one is a little yellow, black, black, red. Okay, now I want you to, okay, so we do have a couple of colors, right? We have black and red mostly, right? Is that correct? So I would put how many I would pick what different colors. Black and red for me are pretty much the ones that I have. Yours is going to be different probably. How do you think this variation might affect the competition between the offspring? So do you think that these offspring might be competing a little bit differently? I mean, what do you think might affect the competition? What do you think might affect it? Okay, so are some harder to see than others? Are they all equally visible on this color background? Okay, so let's look at this next section, which is analyze. So we're going to scroll over the insects and note their fitness shown under the phenotype. Remember, fitness is the likelihood that they are going to survive and therefore reproduce. So the fitness of an organism reflects how likely it is to survive and produce offspring. Each insect is given a percentage that reflects its chances of surviving to reproduce. Compare the fitness percentages to the insect colors. How does the fitness relate to the color of the insect? So on yours, you're going to take a look at the different colors and see are they making any difference, right? So compare the fitness percentages. So go in to yours, and so I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 that are reddish, and their percentage of fitness is 73. Okay. When we go to the black ones, these are all black, their percentage goes down to 61. And then we have one that's a little bit wonky. That one's mixed, and that one is at 72. So that one is slightly lower than the ones that have the red mutations, right? The black is quite a bit lower at 61%. Okay. So how do you think its fitness is relating to the chances of being eaten? Look and see. Remember camouflage. You learned that in elementary school. How well is it camouflaged with the background? Okay. And then number 4 again, still on the analyze part. It says, Predict how do you think an insect's fitness will affect its chances of being eaten by birds. So look at the percentages. Look, how does it fit in? And predict how likely is it to get picked off. Okay, we're going to come back to the analyze part next.